Hi, I'm Adam from Watford Opinions, and what a match that was. Adam Masina, last second free kick to win it, ending the nearly 5-year direct free kick drought. What a way to win the match, honestly. I'm still slightly at a loss for words. Sorry if my throat's a bit sore from me screaming while watching that, but that was a hell of a finish to the match. And before people say the free kick drought was not 5 years because of Kabul against Arsenal, that took a mean deflection, so that's not really directly in, but it's just, what a way to end the match. And from, that's the moments you live for in football, really. I mean, no, I don't know anything else in the world that can bring, just for even that, like, split, like, 5-10 second, like, just sheer shock, joy, ebullience, just, that feeling is just, that's what football is all about. That's why there's no sport better than it. But apart from the last second winner, which I think we're all, and even by the time this is published, still going to be recovering from, the match overall was definitely a interesting match to analyze. I mean, Cardiff City, for the first 5 minutes, they were definitely on the front foot. But once Watford woke up a bit, Watford were putting on the pressure, piling on more, and then there was just the defensive collapse. I mean, the initial ball in on the Sierralta own goal, Troost-Ekong was well out of position, and unfortunately, I must say, Troost-Ekong was pretty shaky for the entire match. A couple times, him and Bachmann were definitely out of their depths with their communication. It seemed Troost-Ekong was committing when Bachmann had called him off, or vice versa. But it does seem like it was kind of more Troost-Ekong's fault, but obviously we don't know exactly what the players were saying, but Troost-Ekong was caught out of position. Sierralta, a bit unfortunate to score the own goal. Yes, maybe he could have done a bit better to poke it wide, but if he didn't get a foot on it, it would have been to Kiefer Moore's ball to an open net. So Sierralta definitely unfortunate for the own goal. And I thought Sierralta was pretty good for the rest of the match, but I mean, we went 1-0 down, and it definitely seemed like, oh no, it's like this momentum we've been getting, it's not going to stick, unfortunately. This is going to be another stumbling block. Swansea edged past Luton earlier today, and we're probably lucky too. I mean, Luton definitely had some good possession and definitely could have equalized or even gone on to win the match. But it's like it kind of, that feeling of, like Brentford maybe got lucky with their win yesterday, Swansea did, and then now we're going to lose. And like it definitely felt like, maybe it's going to be time that we're brought down to earth. But then a minute later, Nathaniel Chalobah restored to the first team after his 2-match suspension for 10 yellow cards, and what a goal that was. Definitely the Chalobah of old. Definitely the Chalobah of old there with that turn. It was 3 touches, moves to the left, brought the defender with him, then turned back right, got it onto his favored right foot, slotted it back across the net. It was a wonderful take. Definitely not the strike of a defensive midfielder lacking, well, he wouldn't be lacking confidence, but definitely not the strike of a central defensive midfielder who's just been restored to the first team after suspension. I mean, that was top notch from Chalobah, who took the captain's armband today as well. He definitely led the side well, but I mean, the first half, it was definitely Watford's game besides that first 5 minutes and then that own goal. Definitely Watford were the more dominant team. Watford definitely had the vast majority of possession. But then the second half was a bit different. I also want to mention Sarr today. Maybe it's a bit unpopular of an opinion, but I didn't think Sarr was all that great. He was definitely going down a lot. But I mean, the ref, I don't think it was the best refereeing performance by any stretch, but the ref was, I guess you could say, consistent for both sides in the sense that he really wasn't calling that many things. Like, he was letting the play flow, which I guess you want to see, and Sarr was going down a lot more, expecting to get more calls than he was getting, so definitely didn't think it was one of Sarr's better performances. But in the second half, we really didn't try to obviously I don't think force feed is the right word, considering play naturally goes down the right frequently for us, but we didn't really use those overlapping runs on the wing that cause the other team so much trouble in the second half. So the second half tactics were definitely interesting. I mean, Zinkernagel and Sarr, they were definitely a bit more free-flowing on the pitch. I mean, the tactics were questionable. I wouldn't say they're the best tactics. And again, I mean, if Masina hadn't scored that last-minute free kick, the complexion of this video would probably be a lot different. Because, I mean, the tactics were questionable. There was a lot of individual poorish performances. Not totally sure about the substitutions as well. I mean, I think Success, it's definitely good to have him back, but I'd rather Success get those minutes, when we're kind of more protecting a lead. Like that physical body, more like we're protecting a lead rather than trying to get one. So that was definitely questionable. And for Sema as well, it's like, it wasn't Sema's best performance, but Sema was doing some good things. And so that definitely made me wonder. And then Gray and Sanchez coming on did make sense. I guess you need just a bit more injection of energy. But, ultimately Masina ended the drought. And again, if Watford didn't win, the complexion of this would be a lot different. It wasn't our best performance by any stretch of the imagination. The first half, I'd say, was a very good first half. The second, and just unfortunate with the own goal. The second half, we were definitely more controlling, I'd say. It's not like we didn't totally I think we did deserve to win. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. I'm just saying that, tactically, it wasn't the best. Again, for example, against Nottingham Forest, it was a 1-0 victory, but I thought tactically it was very sound by Xisco. I thought doing a 4-1-4-1, which is a variation of the 4-3-3 with 2 attacking midfielders to kind of stagnate Yates and Garner and the engine of Nottingham Forest side. I thought the tactics in that match were brilliant. So it was definitely a bit. Cardiff City, they were definitely trying to just make. I saw someone on Twitter talk about how Cardiff City were trying to not play football, in the sense that they were going to try to make us break them down, but they're going to be we know how Cardiff City are. Well, we knew how Cardiff City were going to want to play. They're going to want the long throws. They're going to want the set pieces because they have tremendous height on their side. We ultimately dealt with those pretty well, which is definitely good to see, and probably going to make Ben Foster a bit scared, because the one thing that wasn't totally going Bachmann's way, and the one area Bachmann did look questionable prior to this match, were set pieces. And now, it's not to say that Cardiff City were putting them right on Bachmann's nose, which are the ones that were troubling him, but Bachmann definitely looked more sound on set pieces today. So that was good to see. But Cardiff City knew that, Watford are going to have the quality on us. The Cardiff City actually had a pretty good pitch. Fair play to their grounds people. It's definitely one of the better pitches in the championship, but that works into Watford's favor. So Cardiff City knew they were going to kind of need to ensure Watford had to break them down and not give anything silly away to Watford. They'd allow Watford the possession, and then on the counters or on the set pieces or long throws, that's where they'd capitalize. So it was definitely Cardiff City, they did set up well. That's how they were going to likely set up for this match. And obviously they wanted to win and keep their fine form going, but I'm not saying they would set up for a draw, but they definitely wouldn't have minded one either. I'm not even just saying that because of the fashion they lost it in. A draw against Watford's a good result for any championship team. But yeah, I just thought the tactics were a bit questionable. Sarr was definitely flowing centrally a bit more, and there was a bit less of those wide overlaps, and the identity wasn't as present in that match. But at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points. Not again, it's not one where we thoroughly deserve this. Cardiff City getting points would have been unfair to us, but we definitely, it was a good result. Again, the complexion would be different if we didn't win, but it's just a good performance. I'd say good performance. A bit questionable, but Cardiff City, they're now sitting pretty far outside. Well, not pretty. They can still get the playoff spots, but a result like that is good, because if we miss out on automatic promotion, which is obviously the goal, away to Cardiff City is basically the equivalent of playing one of the top, the 3rd through 6th place teams in a playoff. So it definitely shows that we haven't just been getting lucky with matchups we've had. Our winning streak isn't because of the opposition we face. It's because we've actually been good and we've actually deserved it. So that's definitely good to see. And I guess the one other small thing is we're now 13 points clear of 7th place Bournemouth. And again, right now the goal is definitely automatic promotion. We're not as so worried, knock on wood, about getting out of the even promotion playoffs. That's not really worried, but it's definitely good that we're now 5 matches into at least the playoffs. Again, it's not really much of a worry with 10 matches remaining, but it's still definitely a good little comfort to have in case form suddenly dips. At least there's that bit of a cushion if form dips. But overall, it allows us to keep pace with Swansea and Brentford, which is all we need to do. Because of course we play Brentford and Swansea at the end of the season. So as long as we keep pace with them, come those last 2 matches, we control our own fate. And yeah, that's it. A good result, a phenomenal result, a wonderful fashion from a fan's perspective. Not the best tactics from an analytical perspective, but overall 3 points are 3 points, and the way it happened is why football is why it's the best. Thank you.